is said that you can only enter the gates, the pearly gates, only as a child, as an infant. They're saying you can only enter it as the pure soul.
When the mind is purified, that means subside or silent or no identity with it, then you remain. You didn't even enter. You just realize that you never left yourself, that you never been anything other than yourself. This is realizing to your true nature. You can never become yourself. Yet from the mind perspective, it's all about becoming, isn't it?
Yes.
Becoming better, becoming free, becoming whatever it is it wants to, imagines to become.
So that's what happens to most of us in the senses. We're actually confused by the words, the outer world's words, the language.
So
even the pearly gates is a confusion, can cause confusion.
yeah. So some words perpetuate illusion, and some words remove the illusion and disappear. So that's why knowledge rises and do not grow. Ignorance grows and does not rise. When knowledge rises, that means reveal itself, shine forth, shine through. When awareness shines through. You cannot make awareness shine through from the mind's perspective.
So ignorance grows and doesn't disappear, it just continually grows.
If it's given attention. So usually because there's identification with the ignorance, with the forgetfulness, with the separate self, I'm a person, there's the notion that some people have a hard time to live alone, they don't want to, is being a person. Awareness is not being a person. So sometimes people hear, they say, what you share, what I hear, and what it's pointing, this is not being a person. So I say, yes, do you want to become or stay a person and suffer and let desires and fear run your life? Then be a person. Yet if you want to be who you are, which is not a personhood, it's not a name, it's not a form, it's indescribable being, then it's already you. It's up to you to realize it or not.
I think what you just spoke about would be the most difficult thing for somebody to confront, to give up the person.
Yeah, it's actually very easy, because when you look to see if there is any evidence that there is a person, you don't find any. You don't find any. Except you cannot look externally and not find evidence that there is a person. Only when you look within, you come to realize that the conceptual image of the person is a phantom, a mirage. What is a mirage? Appears to be there is water and there is no water. Appears to be there is a person, yet there is no real person. What you come across is the reality, which is not a person, which is you. So I don't think it's easy to give up the personhood. You just have to really look if there is one. So most people, when they look if there is a person, they say, they go out through the senses and they say, of course there is a person, don't you see, if I'll cut your hand, this will... okay. You won't be able to realize the subtle, that the identification lies in there, which is in the mind, by looking at the objects. Because when you perceive the objects, the mind is hidden within the objects. It pervades the object, so it's hidden there. When you withdraw the attention from the object, the mind and its illusion and play can reveal itself. It is seen. That means the only way out is to go within. There is no other way.
So for most of us, what we are constantly doing is projecting ourselves outward, and we enter that object, whatever we're focused on, and that actually becomes us. We sort of take possession of it.
Except even becoming never is real, because it's a dreamlike illusion. So even when you become real in a dream, there is no real dream. Even though the dream appears totally real, the dream never becomes real. So when you dream yourself to become or being somebody, it remains in the dream. It never becomes a reality. So people might say, yeah, if it becomes objectified, that's real. I would ask and challenge, who is dependent on who? Is the object depends on that which imagines it, or that which imagines itself depends on the object? Who is dependent on who? Is the mind dependent on the object, or the object is dependent on the mind for its existence?
Very interesting question.
Obviously, the object is dependent on the mind for its
Yes.
existence. No
Yes.
mind, no object.
Because people say, okay, let's take the Mount Everest. The Mount Everest is dependent on me to exist, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Without me,
It doesn't.
no Mount Everest. So who is dependent on who? So you know what Ramana said? It's easy to get the universe to subordinate to you. Get the mind to subordinate to you, and the universe follows instantaneously. Except you would never realize it unless you go inside. This is why a lot of the sages or the liberated beings never had to go anywhere. They transcended the whole universe by going within, because they knew undoubtedly that the external universe is dependent on them and not vice versa. For the majorities of people who believe they are a person, they are inside the universe, so they are dependent on the universe. This is just a state of confusion, lack of clarity, that's all.
This is what you call a delusion.
We can say that it's a delusion. Because I believe that I'm a physical body inside the world. That's a delusion.
And we have a lot of proof on the outside. Huh?
And then we gather a lot of proofs, justifications that it is true.
And that's what's hard to break. These proofs.
Or easy. Hard, you can choose.
True.
So you can say hard to break, okay, or you can say this is very easy because it's unreal in the first place.
Well, this is where you have to start to have discrimination.
So, as you question, like right now, is it easy for you to recognize what's real within you, experiential?
Yes,
Easy.
easy.
Okay.
It wasn't always easy.
Yet, I would check every time when you experience it if it's easy or not. The more you come to realize that it is easy, Not only that it's so easy, it doesn't take time, and it doesn't take effort, and it doesn't take any movement of thought to realize who you are. Means every effort is movement, it's in time,
Yes.
yes?
Yes.
And to realize who you are takes no movement, no time.
So that movement and time is habitual.
It is an appearance within yourself.
And we develop a habit. And can you explain what a habit is then?
Repetitive motion.
Why does it become established?
Because you identify yourself as the motion instead of identify yourself as that which never moves, the
again,
motionless
So again,
awareness.
we identify ourselves outside of ourselves.
Outside means mind.
Right.
For most people outside, they say it's objectified.
Yes.
Even giving attention to the mind, this is external.
This is also external.
Because the only innermost being is yourself, which is prior to any thought, any movement. Because a movement is already is external. Appearing inside the field of awareness, which is you.